It's the same thing in life. You don't just make the correction of what they said and then you leave it alone. But then you pull them aside. Now we watch the film. Okay. Now we say, okay, you see what you got your remote. You say, you see what you did here? That was wrong. You put your foot here. You should put your foot there, right? Like if you're going to block them out, you got to do it this way and not that way. So we do the same thing when it comes to these examples. We say, hey, listen, you see what you said here? You see how this might be offensive to someone else? You see how if someone else was standing here, right? Do you realize that if your other teammate had been standing right there, they would have been offended. And now we have a problem on our team because you're saying things that would offend your teammates, would offend your brothers, your sisters. Do you not understand how this could really play into our culture at large? It's important that we realize the implications of our actions and our words, but we don't always do that with on-the-spot corrections. Sometimes we got to go back to the classroom, and watch the film and say, hey, listen, this is why this was wrong. This is why you could have done this better. This is how you could have done this better. And we help them do it. We don't just say, figure it out. Don't say that. But we say, hey, listen, if you wanted to communicate this, here's how you could have communicated this a little bit better. If you wanted to do this, here's how you could have done that a little better. So in life, not just sport, we have to pull aside the people that we're mentoring, that we're coaching, that we are role models for, and watch the film. And we say, this is what happened. This is how it could have been done better.
It reminds me of that old saying, a person changed against their will is of the same mind still. So sometimes we think we did our job just by confronting it and stopping it. But if we don't watch the film, same thing like you said on the ice, the players might not do it, but do they know why they're not doing it? Do they know the implication for the team or the game? Do they know the implication for their teammates, for society when they act? And I told you a story when I was a young minister, because I was a Presbyterian minister in my first career, and how I had even elders in my church in Youngstown, Ohio, who would make racial jokes about black people. And of course, I was just a young minister. I was only like 26 years old, and these guys were twice my age, and I was pretty good about saying, look, not acceptable here. But I realize now all I did was push it underground. And to use the sports analogy, in the locker room, when I wasn't around, the elders still told those jokes because I didn't watch the film. I didn't pull them aside and say, hey, I know I stopped you in the meeting, but let's talk about why I did.